Hey there, groovy guys, groovy girls. This is the top 30 of KMAZ, KMAZ of San Francisco and Seattle, bringing you the top 30 summer hits. Groovy girls, groovy boys, get down to the beach and blast your radios on. And those of you of a certain age, or those of you who are who follow nostalgia, or basically anyone who watches friggin' movies and TV and knows anything about history, those of us of a certain age and generations remember top 30 radio from the 60s, mainly the 60s and into the 70s. Anyway, I know some of you are cloistered in your homes and self-quarantined, and I thought it was time to feel what it was like on those summer days. Now, this is a not scientific top 30 summer albums. At least for me personally, these albums have the feel of top 30 summer albums. Put down my Strat and show some records, Maslov. So, what I'm doing here is just albums that have a feel of summertime, get us out of the doldrums of, you know, the long brutal winters that some of us have had, the dark skies, all this like bad news everywhere. It's a bummer. So hunker in if you're tired of Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and reruns of Seinfeld and all those silly dumb talk shows and reality shows, you know. No more of that reality crap. Let's just play music and have a good time. So I picked 30 albums that to me represent the summer. Now, sometimes there's one song that really is a better example of what I'm talking about here. And some of these just have a feel. They didn't come out in the summer, and they're certainly not all from the 60s or 70s. It goes up to somewhat recently. And it's never a definitive list because Maslov is putting together. This is my opinion right now. You know, but the first is an obvious choice just because when you think of summertime, who do you think about? Really? Don't lie to me. You think about the friggin' Beach Boys, right? And I'm gonna show two records by the Beach Boys. Surfin' USA. Growing up in California, I grew up in Northern California. I didn't know what the front or the back or the underside of a surfboard was. And I really wasn't a Beach Boys fan until Good Vibrations, so I kind of missed, even though I heard all the Beach Boys song, Jan and Dean, all that surf music, I did have a single of the Safaris, Wipeout, but Surfin' USA, oh my God, what a great song, what a great album. Now, this is Analog Productions, and it came out in mono and stereo. I think they're still available. It's some of the most amazing sounding records. So these first two I'll show you, this one and this one. This is a must-have. I do have both the mono and the stereo versions of this. One of the best sounding records that you'll hear. And just Surfer Girl, In My Room, those two songs especially. But, and you know, only one of the Beach Boys actually ever surfed. I've never surfed in my entire life, except for body surfing in Hawaii. That's a whole different thing. Little Deuce Coupe. Oh my God, what a great album. This again is Analog Productions, audio file from Master Tapes, and I do have the mono and stereo version of this. I would say if you want to pick two, get this and Pet Sounds. And you know, I think the mono is great, amazing, but the stereo ain't no. I got them both, and I love them both. Obviously the stereo is more atmospheric. Now, these are in random order because I kind of went through my collection and pulled as I had an idea of something. This album, the only Rolling Stones album I put because I saw them. I don't even remember what the date was. It's probably the springtime at Winterland when this album came out. Stevie Wonder opened up for them. And what an incredible album. Tumble Dice, that was one of the great, it seems to me in my mind it was a summer single. I don't remember exactly, but what a rockin' record. I used to put this record up jamming up really loud. Once I lived and had an apartment with Jazz Shit Brooks, and had my JBL L100 speakers going in the mid 70s. This came out 72, but even the next few years I would blast this, starting off with Rock Soft. What a great record. Those postcards that came with it, cocaine fueled record recorded in the south of France, as I recall, but great record. Another great friggin' party record. You know, you could pick any B-52's record. I'm doing this one mainly because of Love Shack. Love Shack was blasting over MTV, also the song Rome, but Love Shack, just that, I mean, that seems summertime to me, right? Now, you know, I can make my own rules up. I don't have to abide by your rules or anyone else's friggin' rules. So there are a couple of greatest hits records, but nothing says summer and great friggin' 60s singles like Paul Revere and the Raiders. Obviously, right now, a lot of people have jumped back into the Paul Revere's and the Raiders frame of mind because of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They used, you know, Quentin Tarantino, I think, picked 3 or 4 Paul Revere and the Raiders cuts for that. I mean, on here you got Steppin' Out, Kicks. What a great, I didn't even know when I was a kid that was an anti-drug song about, you know, well, about kicking the habit. Hungry, great Airplane Strike, Good Thing, Up and Downs, Legend of Paul Revere. Great record. You know, you could pick any of their records, but, you know, the greatest hits. You want that summertime top 30 radio station feel, and this is one of those records to put on and just friggin' blast it and have a good time. Paul Revere and the Raiders, Mark Lindsay. Out the Blue, I picked one ELO record because their stuff is so compressed and commercial as hell, and on the radio these things sound great. You know, the thing that's been on every other soundtrack, it seems, of the last 15 years is Mr. Blue Sky, commercials, soundtracks, everything. What a great pop hit. Turn to Stone. You know, it's not my favorite album of theirs, Mr. Blue Sky, but Out the Blue, but it's certainly probably their most favored, for me, summertime album. Jam-packed with 2 records. This is an original copy I have that actually came in blue vinyl. At least some of the editions did. I think this might have been a copy. I think this was for sale. If not, I got it from a Record Promo Man, although it's not a promo copy. I don't remember. But again, it's the tail end of my period of time. Well, 77. I was in the record business then. So, and it was just a poster. I guess it came with a poster. Bev Bevan, those drums are amazing. I'm so disappointed on Jeff Lynne's solo records lately where he either plays his own drums. He needs a friggin' real drummer. He needs to get Bev Bevan or someone like that again, even though I like his stuff. Now, another great summer record, mainly because it's an anthem of a generation, is the great songs written by Chet Powers, who was a synonym for Dino Valenti, who would be kind of ruined Quicksilver Messenger Service, in my opinion, even though he was in the band, out of the band, and busted for pot in prison for a couple years, came back, have another hit of Fresh Air, even though it's their biggest song. But he wrote Get Together. You know that song, love is but a song we sing, fear is the way we die, baby. Jesse Colin Young, Joe Bauer, Banana. This is their first album on RCA Records, produced by Felix Pappalardi, and it's on I think it's on every friggin' soundtrack that has to do with the 60s, like Forrest Gump and pretty much everything else. But Get Together is an anthem of a generation. This is very kind of a, almost like country fused album. We'd probably call it Americana today. I used to see the Youngbloods because Jesse Colin Young, and they all lived in Point Reyes area, just north of San Francisco, in the early 70s until Jesse's house burned down and he moved to Hawaii. But great, great record. Here's another greatest hits, Time of the Zombies, epic records, and we all know She's Not There, Tell Her No, Summer. They do a cover of Summertime, the great song from Porgy and Bess. You could pick any one of their albums, their early pop albums, Odyssey and Oracle, but I'm going with Time of the Zombies because their stuff sounds so upbeat and fresh. And, you know, summertime is a time for harmonies, and I'm going with this. Now, groovy guys, groovy girls, 1966, 1967, we got this summer play of Groovin' on a summer afternoon. Groovin' on a summer afternoon. The Young Rascals. I love the Young Rascals. This is a reissue, but I bought this album when it came out. I had the 45. Groovin' might be one of the best summer songs of all time. Felix Cavallari, one of the great white soul singers, and this song is so amazing. And this album, A Girl Like You, How Can I Be Sure? Oh my God, You Better Run. A Place in the Sun, that's a cover, but you know, Stevie Wonder did a great friggin' version of that. There's a place in the sun, and down anyone. Moving on, moving on. Come on, everybody, there's a place in the sun. That should have been my karaoke in the contest, because I love that song. But everyone should get this record. It's really well recorded. This is a reissue. It came out in 2017. Might be one of those Rhino things. I don't know if it's still available, but incredible version. This is the mono. So Jam on Vinyl. You need this record. You need to find it because you like mono. Baby, now we're cutting in a top 20 here, moving up to number 19. Actually, I'm not, these aren't in any order, but I'd like to say that kind of stuff. I went to broadcasting school at San Francisco State College, groovy guys, groovy girls, and we're going to next week, we're going to XTC, Skylarkin, produced by Todd Rundgren. Has a great summer feel, not just Summer's Cauldron, but it opens up with that great thing, and grass, and oh my God, this is such an upbeat album, and it's really a fun record, Beatlesque, you know, that tempestuous production time with Todd Rundgren and Andy Partridge and the rest of the band, just, oh my God, won't let loose. Promo copy, promo copy. I need like a siren like they do in AM radio. Promo copy, promo copy. Hey, we got a promo copy right here of Geffen Records, whatever it's called, Skylarking. Vacation, do. The Go-Go's. The first one, Beauty and the Beast, would have been great too, but come on. It says Vacation, summertime. The song, Vacation, summertime. Beatnik Beach is on here. So, hey, great girl group, post-punk LA band of Go-Go's. I saw them at the Warfield, not the Warfield, theater that was a great old movie theater on Market Street, San Francisco. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark opened up for them when this record was hot. I think that's what it was. So it was probably 82 when I saw them, 81, 82. And fun show. They're great. That theater now, for years after that, became a porn theater. So hopefully they hose down the seats in between. I think it was a porn theater for a while before punk shows and new wave shows were put on again. It's going back and forth, but good album. You know, most people probably would have picked Purple Rain, but I'm picking this one. This, to me, is the Prince summer album. Some people would have picked 1999. I'm picking this one, mainly because of Paisley Park, Around the World in a Day, Raspberry Beret. Raspberry Beret has got to be one of the great summer songs of all time. Tambourine, Pop Life, Temptation, but Raspberry Beret. And just love that record, right? Raspberry Beret. You know how DJs talk over the beginning and the end of the song on AM radio, at least they used to? Horrible, but you still loved it. You still love that compressed sound coming out of your car radio back in the day, or transistor radio. So it was a different sound, but I'm picking this Prince album. Hey, rounding out something a little newer, doing from like just 3 years ago, from 2017, half the members of the band, the Black Keys, and it's Dan Auerbach. Dan Auerbach's Waiting on a Song. You know, this record sounds like a 70s hit record. The way it was recorded, Waiting on a Song, Malibu Man, If you haven't heard this, I like it better than almost all the Black Key records, but it's got that just easy summer sound, and it's really catchy in Dan Auerbach's way. I love his singing, I love his production. Cool record. Cool group of musicians on it at his recording studio. So I'm going with this album as a great summer album. If this record had come out in the late 60s, early 70s, it would have been on the top of the charts. I think it did fairly well, but it's still a record that maybe, you know, if you like the Black Keys and you like the kind of music I'm talking about here, check this album out, Dan Auerbach. And now we're going up to a great of the greatest hits record from the 60s, and it was a hot... I can't keep it up, that's my problem. I can do the same shtick for 10 seconds, and Mazzy can't continue. Byrds' greatest hits. You know, Columbia had two greatest hits records around this time. I'm not sure, I can't remember the exact age, but Bob Dylan's greatest hits and the Byrds' greatest hits. You know, Byrds is one of my top 3 favorite bands. And you can't pick one record for the Byrds to make a summer album, but come on, these singles. Mr. Tambourine Man, you know, Gene Clark's I Feel a Whole Lot Better, Bells of Memory, Turn, 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 All I Really Want to Do, Chimes of Freedom, 8 Miles High, Mr. Spaceman, Fifth Dimension, So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, and My Back Pages. Sure, you could fill up more songs on here, but these 12 songs, these are friggin' great. This is a reissue. But I tell you, when I want to put on just the hits, I grab this record and just slap it on my turntable and blast it, because I'm going to hear the Byrds' greatest hits. This is that Friday music, you know, not a bad sounding record. If you can find a 2i original Columbia, go for it. But, you know, it's probably scratched to hell because we just got our Magnavoxes and put that needle on and just cram that and crank that. This is a cranker. In fact, I think the thing about summer records, they have to be crankers. These are all crankers, and crunkers, I guess, right? Crankers and crunkers. Mazzy, hashtag Mazzy Cranker Crunker. Now, one of the great summer songs, a lot of people don't know the whole album, but Jonathan Edwards, he's had a bunch of albums, or a handful of albums. This is probably 71, 72, 1971, I was right. See, I know my music. I bought this album, and this is my copy because it says Maslov. For some reason, I have about a dozen or 15 records. I must have brought them to friends' houses in those days, but it's still, if you look at this is a pristine copy. You know, some people said, Maslow, how come you don't take care of your records? You handle, believe me, you know, shut the fuck up. I take care of my records just nicely. I really do. You know, 2 seconds of a little hand grab, at least on records, is not a bad thing once in a while. But the song Sunshine. Sunshine come away today, don't feel like dancing. A great song, great opening guitar bit on that. But the whole record, it starts off side 2. But this is a great album. If you find it, pick it up. I doubt it's an expensive record. And that was a big record, and it got a lot of airplay. It gets a lot of airplay on, I guess, the oldies stations from the early 70s. Singer-songwriter stuff that was really hot. But Jonathan Edwards, this is a winner. Getting a little fresher, but not so fresh. Fresher than all that crap. Paul's Boutique, the Beastie Boys. Boy, I had the CD of this. I only got the record on vinyl a few years ago. But this record, oh my God. This changed things for me in terms of sort of rap hip hop and samples and stuff. And, you know, I couldn't believe when I got this too on CD that they sampled the friggin' Beatles, and it got through, because the Beatles don't license anything. And I don't know the history of that. In fact, if someone knows it, write it down here. I should research it, how they get away with sampling the Beatles. You know, I can't believe the Beatles, Apple gave permission. But what a great record. This was a game changer, blew things away. Great album, great trio, just great artists. This is, you know, some people my age didn't get the whole rap thing and hip hop and some of that, but this is one of those. I mean, we got into Run DMC maybe because of Aerosmith and stuff, but we're you know, I'm a later generation than I'd say people 10 years younger than me who are now in their, well, now in their 40s and 50s, kind of went through that, the great classic period of that, where I picked and choose or got turned on to little by little. Because a lot of my contemporaries, people around me, weren't into it. But, you know, I got into it a little bit. But this record, oh my God. And the first Run DMC record. And I don't know the time period. I don't even remember what year this came out. But I just remember getting the CD and loving it. Might have been when I was raising my kid and I played for him. And Joseph would, loved it too. So I'm going with this. Another fun, really fun record. In that, you know, well, Diggable Plan, blah, 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 I can't even pronounce it. You know, mixed, mashed up jazzy stuff with hip hop and mashups and sampling, and just what a great, I mean, this is a fun summer record. That's what this friggin' video's about. Summer records, baby. Baby. Put it in your car. You know, all these records. In fact, I think what I'm gonna do, I plug my iPhone in my car because I have Apple Play and stuff. I'm gonna make a playlist of just these 30 albums and just drive, she said. Drive, baby. Put it in your car, put the radio up, turn on the windows, and drive. And listen to Diggable Planets on KMAZ Radio, Seattle, San Francisco. One of the great summer songs again. It was a great single. I didn't have the album till a few years later, but and this is a mono reissue since Sundays, but I have the original rechannel for stereo, which is, I didn't even know how bad it was until I heard this. But the single of Sunshine Superman, one of the great AM pop rock singles of all time. Sunshine Superman. That and Mellow Yellow, but Sunshine Superman's the one. And this record's great, but I'm doing it because of that song. There's other stuff on here that get a little more mellow, but Season of the Witch is on here. Oh my God. Jefferson Airplane does a great, I'm sorry. They do a cover of Fat Angel, which is also on here. Jefferson Airplane is Fat Angel. Fly Jefferson Airplane, take us there on time. The version of Season of the Witch, I'm thinking, is from Super Session. Al Cooper, Mike Bloomfield, Steve Stills. You know, I'm taken aback. The greatest summer single of all time. This Mazzy says this, so you can quote me on this. The greatest summer single of all times. Guess. Did you guess? Were you right? I bet you weren't right. I bet you somebody was right. I want you to write down here if you were right and tell me the truth. Or tell me what your guess was. I want you to write down here what is the greatest summer single of all time. The greatest summer record, single, 45, played on the radio, that you'd turn your car radio up and blast that son of a bitch. You know what it is? Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful. Hot Town, Summer in the City, Back in My Neck, Get Dirt and Gritty. What a great song. Bong, bong, bong. That drum sound, Peter Jacobson, is it Peter Jacobson? What's his name? Jacobson, this producer. Eric Jacobson, sorry, not Peter. Eric Jacobson produced, I think, all the Lovin' Spoonful records. He would go on to produce the first 2 or 3 Chris Isaak records. Kama Sutra. I'm not going to show a lot of labels, but Summer in the City. And this record, I mean, it ends, Summer in the City ends the fucking record. How great is that, right? You'd think it would start the record, but it does. You got Coconut Grove, Nashville Cats. They were a band also, like the Buffalo Springfield, ahead of their time in a way, had a lot of AM hits, but they were fusing sort of folk and country influences, which people didn't get what that was about. Maybe with the Beatles, part of Rubber Soul, Buffalo Springfield, obviously, but you know, auto harp and country playing and country picking, Darling Companion. God, great record. This is an original stereo pressing with hype sticker. or at least if it wasn't the first, it was very close, the first year it came out. But hot town, summer in my city, back of my neck get dirt and gritty. Hey, town isn't a pity. Isn't it to say in the city, did people looking half dead, walking like a match head, whatever it's called. I know the lyrics, but I just can't think. Walking around like a match head. What a lyric that is, right? Just, and if you've ever been to New York in the summertime, I mean, there's other cities too, but for some reason, New York in the summertime, that's what this fucking song is about. It's so cool. It's so great. You better pick it up here, man. But what else do you have to do? You're stuck at home, you know? Self-incubating, self-percolating, self-masturbate, you're, you know, there's a great thing. Have you heard of the, I'll think of it later. Early 70s again, was it 1972, I'm thinking, 73. What a great movie and a great record. This was a changer, an album changer in terms of reggae and bringing reggae to the masses in America, probably everywhere, not just America. The Harder They Come, this great collection, you know, it's all sort of revolves around Jimmy Cliff with, you can get it if you really want. It's got, oh my God, Rivers of Babylon. It's got Scotty, the Melodians, the Maytals, Sweet and Dandy by the Maytals, oh my God. Jimmy Cliff, the Slickers, Johnny Too Bad. Johnny Too Bad, what a great song, that Shanty Town by Desmond Decker. Desmond Decker, of course, is most of us of a certain age. The first reggae song, we didn't even know it was reggae, was the Israelites. That's not on here. You can get it if you really want. Harder They Come. Jimmy Cliff, everyone should have this soundtrack. This is a Punch promo copy that I got from Capitol Records on Mango, and it's still in pristine shape. I think this was not exact, well, it was the in-store, they gave us to play it in-store, but I took it home. We opened up a copy to play in-store. So what a great record this is on Capitol Records. God, incredible record, incredible summer, incredible anytime, but it's such a great record, you know, sit out by the pool, you know, sitting there and have a cocktail and smoke ganja, and it's now legal in my state and most of the states I care to go to. That sounds so snooty, doesn't it? Come on, marijuana should be legal everywhere. The economy's fucked up anyway, as of now, it's gonna be, but play reggae music, play this record and smoke a joint. Even if you don't smoke a joint, you'll feel a whole lot better. And that's a great name for a bird song, feel a whole lot better. You know, Odelay, Beck, I mean, there's a lot of Beck stuff's upbeat. Some of it's, as we know, introspective and slow and moody, but this is the fucking summer record of Beck. Devil's Haircut, I mean, you know, what's the song was it Jackass or Novocaine? That he, just great sampling of that Van Morrison version of Baby Blue with that opening riff that he samples on here. What a great record. God, I love this record. This changed things. This was a game changer too, I think. Beck Odelay. Now, I had to pick an album for the Beatles, and this is probably an unusual choice because it's not one of their proper albums. It was one of their American bastardizations. However, I will argue this is a great album because it's a soundtrack. The soundtrack to Help. Most of you know this is the American version. Starts out with that kind of great orchestration, Ken Thorne, James Bond-like theme, and goes into the song Help. I would argue this sounds even better than the UK version. UK obviously not padded, but added great Beatles songs on side 2. This has instrumental soundtrack. It has Prelude to Lohengrin Act 3 by Wagner, classical music. It's an amazing record. Plus, the thing about this record, it came out in the summer, when the movie came out in the summer of 1965. Help, Another Girl. God, these songs were incredible. They don't even list the song. Oh yeah, they do. You Got to Hide Your Love Away, I Need You, Another Girl, Ticket to Ride, You're Gonna Lose That Girl. How fucking summertime Beatles can you get? You can't get more summertime Beatles. I'm sure most people would put on Sgt. Pepper, but that's not I mean, it came out in the summer. We listened to it all summer, but that's a sitting home, putting headphones on in 1967, thinking, what the fuck is this? This is a get in your car and stick this thing on the radio and blast it. Even the instrumental stuff, it's so amazing. And the Eastern sitar-like soundtrack period. But Help, this just blows out of the stereo speakers or the AM radio speakers in your car. You know, plus, from being so cold, they went to the fucking Bahamas because they didn't want to be cold. How cool is that? Let's just make a movie and go to the Bahamas because it's warm, because we want to be in the fucking Bahamas and make a movie. So that's incredible. Another greatest hits, Herman's Hermits, Herman's Hermits. I mean, I'm dating myself, because who else am I going to date? Peter Noone, who is Herman. Mickey Most, as I recall, produced most of these things. Yeah, Mickey Most. Mickey Most also produced the early Jeff Beck solo albums, produced Donovan, and great producer, great pop British record producer. But Henry VIII I Am, Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter. End of the World, of course, that's not very summer-like. Sea Cruise, but Wonderful World, they did some cover stuff, but great album, great top 30 record. I got to do a couple of San Francisco psychedelic-like things, and the one I'm picking, because a lot of this stuff, you know, you don't really put a Grateful Dead, you don't think of summertime, although, sure, you can make a playlist that's summertime Grateful Dead, but I'm picking It's a Beautiful Day. White bird and a golden gaze. And there's a song, the second song is Hot Summer Day. David LaFlame, great violinist, but saw them once. Great record of Columbia. It's a Beautiful Day. White bird in a golden gate on a winter's day in the rain. Like, okay, I'm going with this. Fun, upbeat record. The Boy with the Arab Strap, my favorite Belle and Sebastian record. Some people call this kind of music twee music. Twee? Summertime, great record, fun record. Seymour Stein, there's a song, not, you know, this was on Sire, right? But Seymour Stein was the head of Sire Records. Great autobiography. You need to read the Seymour Stein's autobiography. You want to read about rock and roll and the music business, and cool record. Anyway, they did a song called Seymour Stein on here. Their first album, The Jayhawks. What a great summertime record. Tomorrow the Green Grass. So upbeat, country rock infused, you know, that whole Uncle Tupelo. The Long Cut, Chris knows all about this stuff, and he writes more about it. You know, I remember buying this record when it came out just on a CD. Loved it. Probably they're more commercial of their other albums, but I have all their records. Love the Jayhawks, but this is the summertime sounding record by the Jayhawks. Sly and the Family Stone. Stand. Oh, this record. I mean, Stand is such a great record. Everyday People. That's the summer song. That's the kicker. That's the single that I would just put on any playlist. But I do love 13 minutes and 48 seconds of Sex Machine. Great, funky, sexy, sweaty, wah-wah, pedal music. 13 and a half minutes plus of Sex Machine. Sly Stone, Sly and the Family Stone. What a great record. What a great record. Also a big summertime, sitting on the dock of the bay. Not upbeat, but just the perfect summertime song. He wrote that about, he's staying for a while, I don't know if he's living full-time in Sausalito, California, right across the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco. So the dock of the bay that he's writing about is the San Francisco Bay. So I get verklempt every time I hear the song, and it makes me homesick. Two more to go, and this top 30 will be ending. And God, the top 30 ends. Buy these records and call me. I'll take the fifth caller on the action line. Fifth caller got 1-800-MAZZY. And third caller will get a copy of, not really, I only have one copy of this, but you know, a lot of records by Talking Heads are upbeat, but this is the Talking Heads soundtrack to the movie. David Byrne directed, I believe, True Stories. But to me, this is their most party record. Wild Wild Life, their version of that. I mean, their song, the video of that is great, with John Goodman and all the people in the movie. It's hysterical, and this is a great summer record, I think. And lastly, you know, Stevie Wonder Talking Book. I just played this the other day for a while. And amazing. This was a turning point for Stevie Wonder. Obviously, the one right before it, his glasses on the cover, was probably the first one that really changed things. This is where he grew up, and he was no longer little Stevie Wonder from those great Motown singles of the 60s. But this is where he became the kind of the true auteur, the true artist. This is where it really just all gelled together. You know, Superstition and You Are the Sunshine of My Life. You Are the Sunshine of My Life has become such a schmaltzy, overplayed song, but you can't deny how fucking great that song is, right? And Superstition, you know, the kind of the electronic piano synthesizer thing, the beginning of that, and what a great dance thing. This record is a perfect record. Perfect record from start to finish, perfect album. It ends with a great song, I Believe, When I Fall in Love, This Time It Will Be Forever. If you haven't seen the movie High Fidelity with John Cusack, they use that in the closing credits. And all of a sudden, if you've never paid attention to that song and you really don't know it, you need to watch that movie, and at the end, how that song comes up. It's a perfect antidote for summertime blues or lovesick blues. Oh my God, what a great love song and great song. So I just want to say, Mazzy loves you all. It's a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog making these videos. I'm stockpiling videos, that's what I'm doing. So there's a lot of videos. I don't expect everyone to watch all these videos at one sitting or even watch all my videos, because I've been doing like an average of about a video a day. But I'm working at home, and there's not much work right now. You know, people don't want to, you know, in my industry, like a lot of industries, people are hurting right now. This is being taped on Friday the 13th of 2020. So if you're watching this in 2030 or 2045 or even 2021, you'll remember, history will show what it is this time. So I hope you all, I wish you all well, and you know, play some music, play some uplifting music. I did do some videos several months ago about depressing music and dirgy kind of stuff. And sometimes when you're in this mode, or you know, whether it's you're heartbroken or someone, you lost someone, you play music like that because it does make you feel kind of good. But I just thought this is the time to, you know, let's get some sunshine and convertible and love, and I don't have a convertible, but roll back the top or open the windows, or just sit back and pour yourself a cocktail. That's how they say it in the Midwest, in Ohio, cocktail, and enjoy this music. So Mazzy does love you, and I really appreciate all the great comments and love out there. And I just say, you know, enjoy the music. Take care, my friends.